Greetings, mortals, and welcome to a new day, I guess.
Hey, sorry about not streaming yesterday. It was very important that I get some laundry done while listening to coverage of the election, which went badly. It went badly. It went about as badly as it could have gone. I don't usually talk too much about... I don't consider this like a stream to be a political stream. But I talk about political stuff periodically. But the situation in America is very bad. And I had to have some conversations with some family members. There's some conversations that I'm going to have moving forward still. And it's pretty bad. If you're in the United States, you should save up money. Don't spend money. Make sure your passport is up to date. Just in case. And yeah, if the cops start knocking on your door and asking you about coworkers, friends, family members, anybody, you don't know nothing. You don't know nothing. This is true. This should be true all the time. But especially in the near future, if ICE starts knocking on your door and asking about your coworkers, you don't know shit. Any other law enforcement entity knocks on your door and starts asking about people you don't know shit. Some female office coworker of yours disappears for 3 days. No, she didn't. Oh, was she out of work for 3 days last week? Oh, I didn't notice. Huh. Why? Why are you asking? You didn't see shit. So, we're in for an interesting future. May you live in interesting times and all that. So, people want to talk about things or ask any specific questions. I am open to that, but I'm going to be mostly focusing on providing for some entertainment for people to not have to think about it. And yeah, because I don't know that, I'm the person to say much more than just if someone comes by your workplace asking about your coworkers, you didn't see shit. Could be any number of things that they could be coming at after any of your coworkers for. And none of it's good. So just, you didn't see shit. Don't tell those pigs nothing. So, when last we left off, speaking of filthy pigs, we had been...
I can't identify them.
Doesn't really make any sense. But speaking of, villainy and abject terror, we were getting our asses absolutely handed to us on this goddamn island. And now we are going to continue on with getting our asses kicked on this island. And we'll have to see how it goes. We'll have to see how it goes. We have the boss here. We have an uninjured mage. Yes, I believe that my intention here was to start luring these. Is this the right save file? I think it's gotta be, yeah. For some reason I was thinking that I had already pulled the boss to this top side here. So I'm like looking at him like, what is this guy here? Okay. How are we doing? Okay, we've got all three of the bosses nicely nestled in the top here. We can pop down south again, try and make sure that we get this done. And we will see how it goes. Let's see here. Okay, took out one of those. Okay, we're gonna reload. I should have just taken out the apprentice and left immediately, but that would have made way too much sense, I guess. Alright, let's keep going. That's a concern. Okay, yeah, we can't afford to let somebody go down like that. So, I think that we're gonna need to just dive across here. We'll take one wave of pot shots. Take a look at what the situation looks like once we get to an appropriate range. We did barely any damage there. Let's see. Oh man. Yeah, this is gonna be rough. Whoa. Excuse me. Whew. Okay, we take out that. Wow. Wow. We're gonna die from doing nothing. Oh.
I knew it.
Oh my god. We actually got onto land and got an extra tick after we'd already reached land. Rough. Wow. Wow. Alright, we're gonna need to move some of these, I guess. Let's rotate it this way. I'm just gonna go straight north from here. So is that one gonna rotate all the way back? No. Alright, so we're basically just gonna be beating our head against this wall for a little bit. Shouldn't be too... I think it shouldn't be too time consuming, but yes, we're trying to get 6 ahead of 8 by a level. So we're basically just getting a full level here if possible. Which should mean that we can basically just finish clearing this whole area. I think that getting to 100% here might and might not level me up. Or not level me up, but get me to that, like, that additional point of bolster level. Okay, we got really lucky there. Like, real lucky. Because
haven't seen this kind before.
I haven't seen this color before. Yeah, definitely haven't seen 1,000 of those. Alright. So we should be able, once we clear out... Honestly, once we clear out this first mage, from there things should be a lot easier. I think I'm going to pop in here and try to just burn down this one. Just because it's there. Please. Fuck. That's so sad. You are journeyman. Oh, do I not have torchlight? I don't think I have torchlight active because I don't have... Oh, I don't have air resistance active right now. What are my spells currently? Keeping Fate active instead of air resistance? That's... Let's load this back. I didn't realize that I was maintaining Fate instead of air resistance. So we can maintain air resistance. With air resistance up, we should be able to use torchlight. We might be able to use... Oops, that's not good. We might be able to use both. Okay, so that should make a marginal improvement to my incoming damage. Okay, we've now moved that one a little bit more appropriately, so let's pop over here and hope that it doesn't just wander away from me this whole time. It's just going to keep wandering back, which means that we're going to have to chase it all the way. It's going to put us closer to all the other enemies, which means that we're going to get more than just the ones that we want. Let's see. Okay.
Never seen one before.
So that one is low. But yeah, luckily we don't have a bunch of other mages that are still in range to get aggroed here. We really just have this one and then one more. And then what's that? One more. Oh god. I'm gonna try. I should have tried to do this. I can't get across the water without somebody dying, I don't think. Like if yeah. The amount of damage that I'm going to take from the water is too high. It's okay, though. I think that it is worth it to try to burst this one down before we try to come back. It doesn't take more than, like, a couple of rounds of combat. So, with it only taking a couple rounds of combat, I think it's 100% worth it. So, hey, Drunkers. I'm doing pretty good. I slept real early yesterday and had some, not super pleasant conversation with some family members who live in the States, and then popped on to here, and we're making good progress. So, yesterday was a rough one, but on the plus side, now we can just sort of move on knowing the world state moving forward. It's a pretty, not a lot of room for ambiguity there, Not a lot of ambiguity. So... yeah, so things are going okay. I mean, that's a stretch. Things aren't going okay, but things aren't going okay, but my little part of the world is going as okay as it's gonna go. Exactly. You know, there's no utility in, you know, in sitting around dooming. You have the conversations that you need to have, and you do what needs to get done. I have my little pocket of people that I'm responsible for, and part of that pocket of people that I'm responsible for includes my viewers, but demographically, most of my viewers are not exactly in a super vulnerable position. You know, most of them are not Americans. And the ones who are Americans, as far as I understand, are mostly men, right? Not really the most demographically vulnerable population from this. So the PSA responsibility exists to an extent, but it's not a it's not like the it's not the same as the dynamic would be if I had, like, you know, a large Florida audience. You know what I mean? Like, if I had a large audience of queer people in Florida, that would be you know, different sort of vibe in terms of the kinds of communication responsibilities I have. So yeah, you know, we're just doing our thing, and hopefully giving people, you know, something to. I was watching whatchamacallit, I was watching a video of Markiplier and MySkirm and Lord Minion 77 doing like a video, and I actually fell asleep and took a nap from it yesterday afternoon, and that was a public fucking service that they provided. You know, that right there, that was a very valuable service that they were providing, and I hope to be able to provide something similar. Since I don't know that I have any other particular responsibilities as someone who isn't a predominantly political person, like as a media personality, it's not really my primary thing. I moved a long time ago. I moved, I don't know, over 15 years ago. I was looking to move for quite a while because, you know, people they kept saying to me, hey, you know, America, love it or leave it, and I said, okay. I hear you loud and clear. And so I looked into moving to Japan. I spent a few months there, and I eventually settled on it. That is actually accurate. But the reason that I moved to Singapore was because my wife is Singaporean, and as a Singaporean teacher, the idea of her moving to the United States is obviously laughable, right? Like, teachers don't move to the United States. You're not going to move to the U.S. If that's your career path. Not a great professional move. So So anyway, I moved here. I've been here ever since, and I'm really enjoying it. It's been a you know, it's been a pretty big upgrade, and it's a nice place. The government is mostly chill. They're a little crazy about certain things. You know, they're like their drug policies are insane. They really like executing drug traffickers.
That wasn't so bad.
They loves it. They loves it so much that they'll periodically do it to people who aren't exactly traffickers in the classic sense. But yeah, other than their decidedly aggressive policies regarding that particular thing, Singapore is actually fairly remarkably chill as a place. I think I'm going to be in trouble here. I think I might have slightly overestimated how okay I was going to be. I'm going to try to take out this random mage. If I had my my lifesteal up, I might have been okay there actually, but I'm not familiar with Hmong. Is Hmong like in? I'm trying to think of like what ethnic group that would be. Is that like in? I'm trying to think because it could be. The thing that immediately comes to mind is like Thailand, but my guess would be more like maybe Myanmar, just because I don't recognize it. The kid next door just like, oh, Laotian. Oof. Was Laos on our side? Isn't Laos the place that we left a desolate wasteland because we decided that it was extremely important that we bomb the ever-loving shit out of the country without ever declaring war on them? That's Laos, right? That's the place that has like the huge like it's not a minefield because they're not mines, but the unexploded munitions place where basically it's a death sentence to walk near it. Yeah. Oh, okay. So this was like this is like a subgroup. Okay, I gotcha. This is like the Cubans in Florida, basically, right? Where it's like, yes, this is a very specific. This is a very specific group of Cubans that we have here. The not your not necessarily your standard representative sample. Let's see here. Okay, so we just cleared out a solid amount there. Yeah, I don't know a ton about the I don't actually know a ton about the Vietnam War. I have a very I have a very surface level knowledge of it. Like I know enough to know that, we did, a few, shall we say, shall we say war crimes? Yes, we shall say war crimes. I know that we did a bunch of war crimes, but that's a very surface level knowledge of the. You know what I mean? Like that's very surface knowledge of like, oh yeah, we left that, that whole field full of unexploded ordnance. That was a thing that we did. I'm sure there's a Behind the Bastards episode on it. And I should track down the I'm sure there's several actually. I should go look for the Behind the Bastards episodes about the Vietnam War, because it's one of those things that I'm like vaguely familiar, but I don't have anywhere near as much familiarity as I would prefer to have, because we never really got there in school. One of the things that I don't know if this is a common thing, like people keep talking about like in school, they did cover all these topics. It's just that you weren't paying attention. And I remember very distinctly in school that all of the books that we had a bunch of topics about like modern history and stuff like that. The book had it, but they never talked about it because there was no like set curriculum. So what would happen is we would start at the beginning of the book, and the book is chronological, and by the time we got to the 1900s, the semester was over. So since the semester was over by the time we got to the 1900s, we never talked about anything that happened in history class after the year 1900 because the teachers just never finished the book. And this happened like 3 years in a row, I think. Yeah. Like, it's weird because I don't think we even really did. Like, you'd think at least we'd cover World War II. I don't know that World War II actually even got covered in school. Like, even on a surface level. I don't know that it did. Like, it's not like I didn't know anything about World War II. I knew everything about World War II. The History Channel wouldn't shut up about it, right? But, like, also, World War II is a thing that, like, Americans talk about in the cultural zeitgeist all the time, right? So World War II is a thing that I was familiar with. Though I wasn't familiar with... I don't think I was familiar with stuff like the Japanese internment camps and stuff like that until later. I don't think as a teenager I knew about stuff like that. Though I might have. I don't really know. I think I probably learned about that by the time that I was an adult. But I'm fairly sure that we didn't learn pretty much anything about World War II in history class. And I don't know how normal that is. Because, and I don't think that it was like, oh yeah, we're hiding this part of history, which is to say the entire 20th century. I don't think it was even about that. I think it was just, oh yeah, we've made these books chronological,
Beats me.
and by the time, you get like to that point in history, the semester's already over, so you don't actually ever get there. It's an interesting dynamic of schooling that I think that it'd be interesting to know more about. Incomprehensible to my wife because they can't just not get through the curriculum here. That's not a thing that you can do. Just go, whoops, well, I guess we just didn't get to the entire curriculum. Not really a thing. They also don't talk a ton about World War II here. They do a bunch of other stuff that's interesting. They talk about like city-states and stuff like that. They talk here a lot about like countries with like severe racial tensions. I think they go over things like the Troubles in some detail. They talk about the Tamil Tigers, which is something that most Americans would have no idea what that even means. They talk about a bunch of different stuff like that. They talk about like Swiss foreign policy and stuff like that. Though I suspect that the way they go over like this, like Switzerland, they probably gloss over all the Nazi gold. Would be my assumption. I don't think that they actually talk about some of the more important elements that make it so that Switzerland is what it is, right? Like, you know, a core component of Switzerland is hiding the money of war criminals. I don't think they talk about that in, like... I don't think they talk about that in Singaporean, like, primary school. Just a thought that that's probably not in the curriculum. But yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. But I do think that when something's on the curriculum here, they get to it. And the other thing that I'm curious about is I went to school before, like stuff like the No Child Left Behind and stuff like that. And like, I actually don't know if No Child Left Behind has helped with that at all. Because like, you know, it's, you know, people think of that as being like a very failed policy, which I don't know anything about it. I didn't go to school after it came out. But like, given how, you know, sort of laissez-faire my education was when it came to stuff, where it was just like, oh, well, you know, whatever the teacher ends up covering, they end up covering, and whatever they don't end up covering, it's probably fine. You probably didn't need to know too much about that. Like, there was no standardization of anything. Like, the curriculum was not standardized at all. And I just don't know if stuff like that is any better now or not. Either as a result of the No Child Left Behind stuff, which, again, people, like, seem to kind of universally hate, but I'm not, like... I live in Singapore. The idea of, like, oh, yeah, maybe you should standardize your educational outcomes in some way is something that seems reasonable to me. Actually. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's still the same way, or if that was even common at the time. It might have just been my particular school where they were just so loosey-goosey about that stuff. But I just remember it being consistent that, like, in no class did they ever get through the curriculum, but it was most obvious, I think, in history class, because the curriculum is kind of like segmented by year, so you just know chronologically that you didn't get through the whole thing, because it's like, oh yeah, the whole back half of this book is about the 1900s, and we never talked about anything that happened in the 1900s. It is interesting. So, we've actually broken into this place pretty effectively. We need to get the fuck out of here, because that sure looks like a mage coming after me. So we're gonna go over here. Let's see. I wish I remembered more stuff about my my school years, because I just don't remember it that well. And I think it would be interesting to, you know, actually be able to remember, like, exactly, like, oh yeah, which stuff did they cover, what stuff didn't they cover, like, how did they cover, you know, certain things. It's just, I feel like there's a lot of interesting insights to be gleaned from that kind of information. Unfortunately. Unfortunately, this is gonna go bad.
This always
Damn.
happens.
Alright. This always happens.
I don't know.
We could try to fight this exploding mage just solo. I don't think we can fight it realistically. Hey, Celestial. Welcome to the party. We're gonna try to just fight this. That's not that bad. We might be able to survive this. I think we can survive this. We're not necessarily going to. We're not necessarily going to. I didn't. Okay, well. I forgot to get the empiric weapon active. Okay, we're golden. We got this now. So, we've taken out the most important boss. We've taken out all, I think, of the most dangerous enemies. All the mages are down. I think the mages were hitting for about as much damage as the Goblin King bosses. So having the mages down is a pretty huge deal. Good position here. Okay. We're all good. Okay. So, how are we doing here? Okay, we haven't quite gotten enough to get things going there. Give me 1 second. I guess for the next 48 hours or so, I should probably pay attention. Indeed. 1 second. I should respond to this. Okay. A friend of mine was like, "Are you all still going to America next month?" And I'm like, "Well, on the plus side, we're unlikely to see a rise in stochastic terrorism until after he's in office, since he won clean." So, luckily, next month will be, the next month will be a lot less dangerous than it was otherwise going to be, potentially. Okay, we got him down. Luckily, when you're unconscious, you seem to take less or no damage from the leeches. They seem to just bring you down to 0 and they keep you there, so leeches are less dangerous than they otherwise would be as a result. Yeah. I've had so many friends reach out to me like, hey there, buddy, how you doing? It's like, I'm doing it's fun,
It's probably okay.
Ooh.
It's all fine. So we got speed and luck.
Who needs it?
Let's see here. Don't need spell points on you. We got you. Let's do it. I think that getting that extra spell point boost will be nice. Okay. As for this, air and body resistance, you can just slap that over. Ooh, wait, you're... No, You're a monk. Slap that on you. I was thinking you were one of the vampires, but you're not. Okay, so we've got this 100%. We've actually finished here. That actually took less time than I expected. So we are able to make some good progress. Did I open that chest? I don't think I opened the chest over here. I might have, but I don't remember. We're going to grab the campfire. We still have to get ourselves a little bit more experience here. But we are no longer...
Let's leave it behind. I wish I could learn that.
We're no longer behind in terms of... That's going to be nice. That's a... I think haste costs... It might be like 7,000. It might be 10,000. But that's a pretty good pickup. That's a lot of money that we're saving. Phone's blowing up again. Okay. So next, that was not something I needed to respond to. So let's see. What do we need to do? I think we got... We're getting very close. So let's get ourselves over to Iron Fist. We'll just basically plow through a few more enemies. And do we want to do the arena? It's tempting to do the arena, but we're not going to be able to do the endless arena right now. So I think I might just want to... I might just walk. We'll just walk over there. It's fine. And once we're in Iron Fist, we actually can get at Dagger Expert on a second target. So that's a thing to remember. It needs to get done. We've cleared a pretty decent bit of this. Hey, Malekith. It's going pretty well. I don't know if you saw the last stream. I didn't see anything in the changelog, but I think repair item is counting toward my costs for getting expertise. Give me a second. For this character, I'm gonna go check again on bodybuilding. But everybody else for their second skill at expert had a cost of 20 grand, and it's 30 grand for this character. So the only two skills that I have are repair item and frost at expert. So because the identify item and disarm trap are not, they are not causing that problem, right? So this character, you can see that they have the value set. Should it be 10k? I thought bodybuilding was added to the list of things that are scaling up. Because I paid 20 for both of these characters because I didn't think it was a bug for them. Wait, what? It's supposed to be 5k per expert skill? It started at 10. It started at 10 for me. Let's see. Oh, nice. I need to get started on doing cooking. Da, da, da. Yeah, I need to get started on cooking again too, because that does sound nice. I need to transition over to making less just like, ah, yes, well, all I'm going to do is take some ground beef and cook it and then put it in a taco shell. That's slightly downplaying how much I know how to cook. Most of what I know how to cook, though, is pretty much just ground beef or throw chicken in an oven. We have Frost Expert and we have Repair Item Expert. So those are the only two expert skills that we have. So we needed to get... It's the Hidden Dagger? What the heck does that mean? Do I secretly have Dagger Expert? Okay, we'll just allow these to purchase, I guess. Also, Drunkers, yes. Malekith is one of the mod authors for this. Oh, that's so funny! Okay. That checks out. Interesting. The secret deck. That's so funny. I was like, oh, it looks like it's repair. It's like, no, it's definitely not the repair. That didn't even occur to me. It really should have. Because it is the Minotaur. The Minotaur can do the dual wield thing. Do that dual wield thing. Probably didn't I? I didn't notice. I didn't notice with the frost. Oh well, you know, it's probably fine. Oh, I can just walk over here. Alright, I'll, oh, are you Swift or something? Shit. We could probably take that thing, right? See that shit. Okay, I'll update after this fight. Because yeah, I think that I am basically wanting to pick up bodybuilding on pretty much everybody. I think that will, oh, I have... Might be able to kill this. It should be fun. Okay, once we've killed this, there's a decent chance that we'll have, ooh. That we can move on to, like, Magic 8 and just turn in some more quests, I guess? Is that all I need to do? I literally might be able to just go over there and turn in some quests. Let's take a look here. We're not quite there yet. Let's see, any other issues? I don't remember anything else offhand. I don't remember anything else offhand. Okay, cut you. Base here. Did I run into anything? I don't think so. I don't think so. I think that was the only thing that I ran into last time as an issue. I think it was pretty much just that. Oh no. Well, we'll see how this bodes for me. You know, we'll see how this goes.
Yes.
Okay, sleeping unconsciousness immunity. That's pretty good. Get that out of ring. Not bad at all. Let's save it up. And we still need to do. Yeah, I feel like getting hard locked requires being like kind of soft locked for there's like degrees, you know, for quite a while. Especially when you factor in stuff like, you know, oh okay, well, these enemies have the chance to miss. These could, in theory, miss me with their attacks, so... You could in theory, be able to clear some stuff that... That's interesting. Yeah, we're gonna see how this party manages things. Ooh, shit. Okay. I think pumping bodybuilding up to expert fast is gonna be fairly important here. On everybody. Unfortunately, I have the ones over here that are still gonna be able to tag me. Did I move too far forward? Am I going to start getting still 12. I'm pretty happy with this party, honestly. I feel like the switch to a vampire is going to be something that I'm very happy with. Like having a paladin but not using maces is like a real weird choice. It's a real weird choice I settled on last time. So having the vampire instead, I think, is going to be interesting. We won't get GM Mind, which is... or will we? Do we get my GM Mind, actually? I think we do. We do get GM Mind. So, yeah, if we get GM Mind, then we can even cure Insanity. So, we should be... You technically only need Mastery, but you're going to get the effect hit earlier than that. But with the well, you really only need Mastery, I think. The fact that that well exists is honestly so incredibly clutch. Changes a lot of stuff, actually. The fact that the if you get yourself diseased, you can cure any ailment is a big deal. Because, like, if my party gets cursed too early, that could obviously be a huge issue for me. Because I don't get Grand Mastery. But if they get cursed, then that curse can be resolved when with the Cure Disease Fountain in Arathia now. So I think I could probably take this out. That's concerning. Be very bad for me. That could be fine. It's probably going to be fine. Except for the fact that I lost a decent portion of the DPS, but
Who wants some?
we're all good. We got 2 pairs of boots. We got a crafting item. We should not be approaching there yet, and we might not approach there at all. Except we will, because we're still at 12. So once that ticks up to 13, we'll be heading over to Might and Magic 8. And do we have... We haven't turned in the letter. So I think that's the only thing that we need to do there. So we can get that done. Just the one top tier here, so I think we're going to be okay here. Let's like clear out this subgroup. We're still at 12. I'm really surprised, honestly. I would have expected to get it by now, but that's okay. Okay, head. You're not allowed to start migrating on me today. We have shit to do. I did loot this already. Let's go loot the sword. Oh, right, yeah, we were using that two-handed sword, I forgot. Yeah, how about that for a bug? Bug report. We got a legendary sword and it makes me... Oh, shit! Oh, fuck. Base enchants on this item are 50% stronger. Interesting. That is a big deal. So that requires level 26, which we're almost high enough to use. That's a big, big, big deal. Very nice. Okay. So we will eventually... I think we got a Scouring Pearl, right? Yes. So we have a Scouring Pearl. We don't need it for that item. That unfortunately, double accuracy isn't super great at this point because we just don't have very high crit chance. But at the very least, it's going to increase my my actual hit chance by a fair amount. And when I'm able to keep up Bless and stuff, it'll be a big help. Because that's like 180. That's like such a huge boost. It also gives $22 resists, which is very, very clutch at this point. Like, plus $22 resist is going to be a massive increase to my durability. I'll need to figure out who I'm going to put that on. So, I don't think I need to rework that item, because I think that double accuracy is a pretty decent setup. It's just not going to be quite as potent when I first put it on as you would otherwise expect. We're going to need to get that on a character who... I guess we'll probably need to put that on Shadow Barracos, because Shadow Barracos will be will have a much higher crit chance than everybody else much sooner. Let's see. So we've got a Venomous Sucker there. That's a concern, actually. If we have a Venomous Soul Sucker, we need to have... Do we have... We don't have Cure Poison yet, right? I don't have Cure Poison. I think I need to pick up Cure Poison. Because I think at the moment, if I get hit with a poison effect, that's GG immediately. So I think that because we have this venomous one here, yeah, we're very close. We're at the very, very cusp of getting to 13 there. Any day now. Any day now, you could just approach me and do your thing. Okay, that was toast. Okay, we're gonna take out all three of these fanatics. This might be enough EXP. My guess is probably not at this point, but my guess should be that it will be because, you know, we're getting real close. Okay, but not close enough. Okay, that's an archer. It's a normal one. Okay. There's a wizard over there. That was still not quite enough. I want to get this off of the cliff. There we go. So we've got a boatload of archers from in there on us. We can probably clear those out. With those cleared out, we should be good to go grab the spell. Because I think that Cure Poison is going to take priority over getting another expert. I can survive some poison effects so far, but I'm not going to have a ton of healing output for quite a while. Oh shit, that's a boss. It's another exploder. Holy shit. The number of exploders that we've been seeing is wild. We've seen like 4 or 5 exploders. Because there were 2 exploders on the island. And then I think we just saw two exploding lizard wizards. Like, this is the 3rd exploding lizard wizard, I think, right? Maybe it's not. It might be the 2nd. I might have died after killing the other one and didn't notice. Okay. Got the ring. Is that enough? That right there is enough. So,
This is good.
that is a Primordial Divine's Fine ring. Very solid. So, who needs the durability the most? I think the person who's maintaining a buff makes the most sense for that. So you're maintaining that buff. You're going to get that nice boost. You're not getting the accuracy, but that's okay because I'm going to get a shit ton of accuracy onto Shadow Barracos. So Chompoli gets that. I know the names of my characters. And we can move on to 8. But first we're going to go pick up Cure Poison before I forget. So with Cure Poison picked up, we won't have enough money to pick up bodybuilding on the way out. But that's okay.
Mind, the magic of knowledge.
anything of relevance here that we need? We have meditation already. Oh, cure paralysis is pretty important as well, but that's very expensive.
Body, the magic of healing.
We have cure poison is going to cost 20 grand. Ooh. I think we don't have much choice, right? I think we just have to get it. I guess we could wait until we get expert
It's of no use to me.
thinger, but
I might be able to use it.
let's just get this done now because we've already been getting poisoned fairly consistently, and I think that it makes sense to get that locked in. We're gonna go back to New Sorpigal, I think. I don't think we need to train to 24 right now. And then we can go turn in the letter. With the letter turned in, we can, I guess, just start clearing the direwolves. And maybe some of the centaurs. I'm trying to think about what my priority is. I think the direwolves are more of a priority because I haven't cleared the direwolf stuff yet. Interestingly enough, we're finally going to be getting into Might and Magic 7 again. It's been such a long time, and we're finally getting back there. Once we finish getting the EXP we're getting from this, we actually have 7 at bolster level 13. That's interesting. Do I actually want to jump over to 7 now? Do I want to fully prioritize the other 2 over I might, actually. Yeah, I think I'm going to get 7. Because we've cleared the tutorial area in 7. Yeah, let's go to 7. We're not going to be able to do, or not. We're not going to do too much here. We're going to wait until we're going to basically do enough of 7 to get 8 up to the next tier. Are there any quests I can do in 7 that don't require going anywhere? I don't think so, right? Okay. I think anything that I was going to do would require going somewhere. So this is going to basically just be us clearing exterior areas here. The goblin... Ooh, we should be able to get that sword that we don't really need, I guess. But yeah, let's because we don't have anybody who really needs a sword. We have a two-handed sword in play for now. How hard are you? Not that crazy. So I think this is mostly going to be low tiers. And then, but it's all going to be like homogenous groups where each of these will be their own thing. How much... peeling off about half of this pack, which is pretty optimal. This is going fairly well so far. Okay. So, ooh, we got a two-handed sword, we got a ring, we got a mace. One of those things was exciting. I just saved when I shouldn't have. Whoops. It's fine. So, goal right now is just to clear through these. I think that there's more than enough experience here in this zone to level up just by clearing out goblins. We might have to start clearing out some of the trickier goblins. And if we do, then that's fine. But I think we should have more than enough just by clearing out the goblins. And I don't know that even the trickier ones are going to be that tricky to clear. Like, we could die here, but we don't have a ton of damage. Like, we could fall behind enough that we are unable to catch back up.
Come on, then.
But it looks like we're probably going to be fine. As long as we can keep ahead enough to get the big ones dealt with, the little ones are less likely to be able to do too much here. Let's see.
Nice shot.
Okay. So we're clearing this out. I should probably check that ring. We are definitely early enough in the game that every item that we find has the potential to be an incredibly important component of our
This is nice.
immediate personal power. And that wasn't that big a deal. These crafting rubies are already nuts. Okay, so we have... We have the potential to go pretty nuts with that legendary boot. Honestly, if we wanted, we have two characters that use daggers. I already have. Oh shit! I didn't notice that we had Grognarg on us already. Hello, Grognarg.
I'll save us.
This looks weird. We need to track. I think I can potentially use this house. I don't want to jump like that. That's... Ooh! This house looks familiar.
I'm hurt badly.
Might be. Okay, we got that. Got Grognard's helpless. And this set should be fairly clearable. All good. Got our special herbs and spices. Save the game. This is weaker than what we have. I was thinking of the Lieutenant's Cutlass. I was like, it might be an improvement. Okay, so it just occurred to me. I might not want to strip this off of this at all. I might want to, instead of doing that. So I do still think that the resistances are a very important stat to have. And I am now realizing that if I look at my characters, right? So we have a two-hander that's going to be on this character. This character has no two-handers. This character has no two-handers. This character can use axes. This character is going to have one two-handed weapon. What that means is that I need a total, if I want to max these stats out, I need a total of 3 items. So for this character, the staff is number 1, number 2 is armor, and number 3 is going to have to be something that's not quite as good as the armor, right? Where are these? So helm, boots, gloves, and bow all have a modifier of 75 on them. Which means that for everybody except the Minotaur, I'm going to need something like boots as one of my resistance items. Not necessarily everybody. You have a two-hander. You don't, actually. This character doesn't. And do you two actually need... You do, because you actually need 2 of them. Because you have both... because you have... basically all the elemental resists that need to be done. So the question is what elements I would want to do that for. The most obvious would be air and water. For these two, they need body, air, and water on their secondary setups. This character needs... I'm not sure. I feel like we're going to want to make leather for them. I guess it'll also depend on what I get. If I get an item, it makes sense to hold off on the thing. I don't necessarily need to immediately figure out how I'm going to work that item. That doesn't need to happen immediately. But I think that is probably going to be like an air and thinger boot. The other key is that there's the possibility that I'm going to run into like extremely difficult stuff fairly early. There's something to be said for the idea of making it fire and earth, and maybe I just have to rework it after. I might need to rework it later in like the extreme late game, if I feel like there's so much of a difference between these the utility of these resists that it matters. Because I do think that fire and earth resist are the two resists that are the most important, but are they so much more important? And the answer to that might be yeah, honestly. I think they might be so much more important than the other two. I mean, obviously, you do have Titans. Titans are on air. The most powerful dragons are either fire or... So the issue with Earth is that Earth is more of a mid-game threat than a late-game threat. Because the enemies that use Earth damage tend to be lower level. Right? So, since the enemies that use Earth damage tend to be lower level enemies... I think it does make a degree of sense to get the Earth stuff early. There's also... Like, water elementals are also a fairly significant early game threat, I suppose. So, I wonder if I want to do, like, maybe earth and water. Fireballs exist, but they're fairly rare. The other thing, though, is that Rock Blast is so rare. I just don't know. I'll have to figure it out. We'll see what we decide to do. But it's going to be a while before we're doing any of it either way. So we don't really need to be worrying about it too much. Okay. Thank you for coming up to me. I don't have to go grab your body on the other side of this. So we've got a regenerator over here. I think we should be able to pretty casually clear through most of this. I'm wondering if I want to deal with the extra hassle of trying to protect the guards. And... I'll make an attempt, but I think I'm mostly just going to make a token attempt at it. I don't know that I'm going to invest a lot of time and effort into it. We're like struggling enough. Oh, that's the thing that I forgot to do. I got distracted by the election stuff. I want to get myself a death counter because I think that's fun. I caught up on my punishments that I owed for the last stream, but now that we're no longer doing that island, I feel like it makes sense for us to actually keep track of the deaths, but I don't know how to do that, like, automatically. And I don't know that there is a way to do that automatically unless I was playing a game that people have already developed a tool for it with. Because, like, I know speedrunners will have, like, a thing that seems to, like, automatically tick up. But it's also possible that they're just, like, hitting a hotkey for it every time they die. So either way, we can get the death counter in the corner, and it'll refresh every stream, right? It's not. I don't want to necessarily, though. It could be kind of fun to keep track of it. It could be fun to keep track of like the overall number and just have like the overall number and then the number that's being added to it this stream. That could be kind of fun. We might want to do that. I think that's a fun way to handle it. I think we might do something like that, but I'll need to actually get that set up. I'll need to figure out. I'm sure that I can just Google it and figure it out from there. I mean, I can probably Google it and figure it out from there. That's not a guarantee actually, because Google's so bad now, but that should be feasible. And once we've got that set up, it'll be easier for me to keep track of how many push-ups and things I need to do.
That wasn't
But yeah, it is very funny because like my muscles tighten up immediately upon like the slightest bit of exercise, and it's just very funny because I did the push-ups, a few days ago, and then the very next day, like my arms were already like, oh yes, we've done exercise recently now. Congratulations.
Nice shot.
We are no longer, completely flobbly. Interestingly enough, my right arm was more immediate, had a more immediate response than my left because I'm constantly using the mouse.
I'm hurt.
That's my assumption, anyways, is because I'm constantly using the mouse.
Nice shot.
And we but yeah, that evened out after the first day. Once I did another day of push-ups, the two arms evened out. But it's a good time. Got to do all the exercise. Got to do all of it. Okay, that's actually not optimal. It's and I'll probably set up a thing for the punishment cam, because right now when I have it on just camera, like chat is not there because it's literally just camera. So I'll set up a couple more scenes to accommodate the stuff like the pre-stream chit chat that I'm doing, and things like punishments. Okay, so they're all at 13 now. Honestly, since they're all at 13, I'm tempted to go to 6. That didn't occur to me. Maybe I should I prioritize 6 over all the others? I think I probably should, right? Because 6... I think 6 is the one that has the most experience. So if we go to 6, I think that makes sense. Let's do that, I guess. So I'm going to save this. I'm actually going to be right back, and then we can continue this. Yeah, rowing machine sounds like a good idea. That would be a good call. I mostly just I just do body weight stuff. I haven't done any pull-ups, but we'll get to that once my arms are not crying from doing 20 push-ups. Whoopsie doopsie, I didn't change it over to the BRB thing. Whoops! Just like walking back, you know, just like looking at my phone, responding to text messages while I'm like on camera. Oh no, they're seeing how the sausage is made. Okay. So, I'm gonna clear out. Oh, wait, are we gonna clear out? Do we want to go back to 6? Maybe not, because if we go back to 6, yeah, I don't know that there's a ton that we need to do immediately in 6. Sorry, people keep messaging me. It's almost like there's a whole bunch of stuff going on right now. We're currently in 7. So we jumped over to 8 just long enough to get 7 up. And I'm wondering how I want to prioritize this. I think I'm going to stay in 7 for now. I think I'm going to stay in 7 until we get 8 up to 14. I think that's how we're going to do it. Do I want to try? I have to get so fucking close to you. Okay, we got one of them. I'm just going to pull this back over here. What are you? Regenerator. Okay, so with one of them being Regenerator, I think I'm going to just pop over to the bridge. I don't know how... Pretty hard hit. Yeah, if we can get the Regenerator to just be popping up and down, but not hitting me too much, that would be good. Ooh, it hit me through the wall, so that's not super helpful. It's just going to regen back up to fall every time, so... Nailed it. Let's go. Alright, yeah. We're making fine progress on this. Our DPS is okay. And...
We got that one.
We got some boots. More legendary boots.
This is good.
Nope. They are not legendary boots. So... yeah, let's just keep going. I don't know how hard these are going to be. We actually have quite a lot of lifesteal. So I'm going to try just hanging out here. We're going to see if we can take out... This is another Regenerator. That's a concern. I don't know if we can fight this Regenerator here indefinitely. So we're going to try to clear out the others. And then basically, once we've got them cleared out, we can basically just see if we can win this. And we certainly can't if we get our lifesteal eliminated. We're just going to get attritioned out now. So actually, I don't need to reload them. I can just walk away, potentially. No, there's way more there than I thought. Alright. So that did not work. That did not work out for us. Let's take a look. Yeah, I don't think... I don't think we want to try to do it that way. Okay, we've got the boss coming. I'll try to burn through that one, and we're going to fail, but that's okay. It is nice that we have as much regen as we have. Our characters really do have the ability to recover from damage fairly quickly, as long as they're not currently getting the shit kicked out of them. So if we're able, ooh, that's a golem lord we need to. Hello, golem lord. Oh shit! Not a huge fan of them. Jumping out of the sky at us. It was fine when it was the weak ones, but... barely alive. Barely survived that hit. Feel like we should probably... Yeah, we're not going to be able to out-heal this much damage, I think. So let's just pop here. Is this... Okay, this is going to work.
I need healing.
So we basically just need to take out the Goblin Lord. Please.
I've never seen.
Please let me hit. Why? Okay. So now we should be fine. We have regen back up. And I'm out of soda. Okay, now everybody's back up, and we can just go through this. So this is the fact that we keep running into enemies with the same thinger is probably the seed problem that Malcolm was talking about.
I've never.
Because we've run into multiple multiple identical bosses in each of these locations that we've already loaded in. So these are obviously already loaded in, so we won't get new seeds for things. Ooh, that's a crossbow. We can use crossbows now as nice little stat sticks. So let's see what that crossbow looks like once we've looted this. Because we don't have that slot filled on several characters. So this is armor class and accuracy. That's pretty good. Who do we want that on? Int and endurance is probably not what you're looking for. Let's just slap that on you. There we go. Yeah. All set.
Oh, yes.
Oh, I saw a video just yesterday that was talking about how Terry Pratchett was like extremely involved with Oblivion modding, and was like actually like a serious gamer. And one of the books that I think is really interesting in the
I'm hurt.
in Discworld is actually very inspired by what he was doing in Oblivion, which I think is really cool. Terry Pratchett has like great books, but like Terry Pratchett was like ancient, and it's just mind-boggling to think that Terry Pratchett was like playing Oblivion and being inspired by the Oblivion plays to write some of the books in the series. Okay, so that is a thing that allows me to add a affix.
We don't need it.
Yes.
This is pretty good. 51 might and some fire resistance. Fire resistance being a very potent resistance type. Slap this on you, I guess. It's +9. That's an almost 10% increase to damage. Not too shabby. We really need to get a decent two-hand axe on them. So we have the eye here. Is there something that... Because those are pretty common, I feel. It might make sense to immediately use it just to add... Oh, shit! We could add death and eradication immunity to this. So I guess maybe we don't use it yet, because we might need to add an immunity to something.
Didn't work.
Oh... Maybe not. Okay. This is a bad idea. I know that there's way too many of the top tiers here for me to dive like that. I'm doing it anyway. So my hope here is that we can sort of siphon these into small enough packs. Wow. Just barely, just barely. 228 out of 220. The fact that a significant portion of our endurance is coming off of our actual armor is a problem. We should have had that. I don't think we would have actually died to attrition there if I hadn't gotten burst down there. I think that we'd already taken out a couple of the bosses, and that we would have been able to eventually dive a little bit deeper, like we are right now, to slow them down enough to make it happen. Yeah, we need to be careful with the Goblin Lords. The Goblin Lords have the ability to gib us, to give us trouble. Does gibbing someone refer to turning them into, like, giblets? Is that what that is? Probably, right? Because giblets is like miscellaneous, like, extra parts, right, for like a chicken or whatever. So, like, I think, at least I think that's what that is. So, and a lot of older games, if you did like enough damage, that the enemy would explode. I think that's probably what it is. Okay.
I need healing. I need healing.
Taking up a storm, a Spiritus, just taking all the damage, no problem. Making life easy for me. How are we doing on EXP? We're technically gaining EXP. Oh, oh right, there's an ambush here. I forgot about the ambush. It's cool seeing the ambush spawn. I'm usually not looking at my minimap when I'm walking around there, so I don't usually see the ambush show up. Okay, that's one down. We don't have that many of the lords in play, I don't think. So... Unfortunately, we have a Goblin Lord that's severely wounded in front of us that we can't really hit. Until everything else goes down. And I don't really want to move. Okay, let's get this. This is the one.
Who's next?
Alright. We're in the green. Save the game. How are we doing? Not quite there yet. Probably not super close either, honestly, but we're closer than we were just now. We just got another crafting item. Let's go. Clear that one out. We're at 40% clearance for the zone. So hopefully we'll be able to clear the whole zone and get things going the way we need it to go. So we need to find quite a lot of different types of legendaries. What I need more than anything else is a legendary dagger. That's like the most critically important thing to find. A legendary dagger is going to be nice for a couple of reasons. One of the most important ones being that I can rework a legendary dagger to just be like double might. And that's a perfectly serviceable late game weapon. Whereas for my other weapon slots, I am going to have other priorities because I want to get the resists. But I don't need the resists in the weapon slots for my dagger users. So the dagger users can just put anything they want on their daggers. And that'll mean that I'll be able to burst up their damage potential faster. It will also mean that they don't have like the resists built up as quickly. Unless it doesn't, because we'll already have one like piece of resist gear. Basically right from the start here. So we have that going for us. Because I think we will rework that into a resist piece. And I feel like I might want to just make that earth and fire. If I make that earth and fire, then I'll have 3 characters who have the potential, at least, to have one of their most important resistance slots filled really early. And the 2 of the characters that I can do that for are probably going to be like my squishiest characters. At least potentially. Maybe not. Because, I mean, we do have GM regeneration on Nosferatu. I'll eventually settle on a pronunciation for that. But so that them having GM regen might mean that they don't need it as much. But like at the very least, it'll be very, very influential on Shadow Barricos when we're dealing with AoE damage, because the vast majority of AoE damage in the game is going to be mitigated by one of those 2 resists. So oh right, those things are going to die to the traps. I forgot about the traps killing them. Okay, those are heading toward a guard, I think. So how do we want to handle this?
I need heal.
Okay, need to pay attention to. Let's get concerning. Very concerning. I'm gonna just take out the goblin first. Because it's gonna take so much less time. And then we'll go after the goblin lord.
That hurt.
Sad. Okay, we're getting there. And I looted the chest, I think. Do I want to keep going this way, or do I want to go to the west? I think that I want to come around the south side here. Yeah, I'm not super concerned about the guards necessarily. Though this has been easy enough that I feel like I probably should be a bit more concerned about that. Like I feel like maybe I should be investing more effort into making sure that we're doing that, but I don't know, we did spend quite a lot of time on that island at the very start. I think it makes a degree of sense to just try to get the progress done quickly rather than worry too much about random guards.
What is it?
I normally care very strongly, and I just cannot. I cannot summon the energy to give that much of a shit right now. It's not necessarily the vibe I'm going for at the moment. Let's take a look here. Oh, we're getting there. We are getting there. So, looks like we were able to aggro these packs in a way that pulls them to us fairly trivially. We do have I'm gonna try to grab this pack, maybe? I don't know that I want to try to grab that pack. I feel like if I try to grab that pack, I'm gonna grab the guard. Looks like they're gonna approach the other thing there. I think I'm not gonna worry about it too much. I'm gonna see what happens. How long does it take for you to die? Not very long if I aggro all of them. Alright. I'm gonna try to grab these ones after all, because they're pretty close here. So, yes, we can get these to approach us here. And then once we've gotten these pulled, we can think about the others.
Nice shot.
So that was not enough on its own. Save it up. Okay, we've pulled a subset toward us. And actually that guard isn't dead yet, I don't think. I think that guard's still alive. So If I could actually pull these to a different location where I'm not gonna just die. Oh shit! Oh, I can't move. You know, I had the opportunity to. I don't know if those will attack the villagers. I assume that they will. Are you fucking kidding me? I just got tagged by a fireball from that far away. That's so funny. We're gonna try to just drag these to one of these buildings, with the hope being oh, there's a swift goblin lord involved. Well. Okay, they do ignore the villagers, looks like. Yeah? Are they not? Nope, they're
I'm
going
hurt badly.
some very specific people, but not most of them. Interesting. Okay, we're going to try this again. We're going to grab you. So pulling you to me. That's a good question. I periodically will replay stuff like the Final Fantasy series, but not very often. I guess I sometimes will go back to Diablo 2. I think Diablo 2 was very solid. How are you? I think Jane might be able to survive long enough for us to finish this pack. And I want to finish this pack if possible because I don't want a Goblin Lord to start beating on somebody. But oh shit! How far? Nope. Okay, that one's toast. Nope. Okay, I think we're golden. Okay, we're in the green. Jane is alive, and so are all the other villagers. We're not at the next thing yet. Yeah, what other stuff do I play? It's like actual like old stuff. Oh, the swordsman is actually only at like half life. So that is not too shabby. We're going to go to a different side so that we can grab more of these. And potentially we'll be able to get out of here before we have anybody go down on our side. If we can avoid anybody going down on our side, that'll be pretty clutch. Let's see. I really like Super Mario RPG, but I haven't played it recently. Oh, you know what I've been doing recently is going back through some of the old stuff with some friends. I want to do Parasite Eve sometime soon because Parasite Eve, I think, is a very cool series. Like a lot of the old horror games, like are really interesting and did like very cool stuff. Parasite Eve's one of them. I'm intending to go through Kodelka at some point in the near future and see how well that holds up. Because I played it once a long time ago, but like none of my friends have played it, and I think that it'd be fun to give them the opportunity to experience it. We have like a gathering that we do with that we were playing. Is it called Homebody? I think it's Homebody. Recently, which was really good. Homebody was a great game, And did I pick up? Did I not pick up fly? Or not fly? Jump. I didn't pick up jump. Did I pick up expert air? I picked up expert air, but I didn't pick up jump. Well, shit. I should probably do that, huh? Let's see.
Nice shot.
Yeah, Homebody was really good. We really enjoyed it. But anyway, we basically let's like pass the controller around because we're a bunch of scaredy cats, and so one person will hold the controller. One of the games that I wanted to do for that group is Kodelka because I think that'll be interesting to see like if people enjoy it. It might end up being a bit too slow paced in the combat system for the kind of like the kind of couch playing that we're doing, but we'll find out. Assuming we ever manage to get everybody in the same room again, it's difficult to get people's schedules aligned. But yeah, so Parasite Eve is something that I go back to periodically. I do periodically go back to Jade Cocoon. Jade Cocoon is a very bizarre game and a bizarre series. I never actually finished the whole like second portion of that game. Actually, I should go back to get that done because Jade Cocoon 2 was really interesting. Let's see what else. I don't know. I periodically will just like grab random games from my childhood and replay them, but not super often. I don't actually play that many games off stream anymore. Mostly what I play off stream is like idle games and games where I'm playing something with some friends. Yeah, I've tried to get into the Fallout series and I've never really been able to do it. I used to replay Baldur's Gate constantly. Like I used to go back to Baldur's Gate over and over and over again. Both 1 and 2. The 2 is just like such a great narrative. It's a great series. The second edition D&D though, AD&D as a combat system. Sorry, is kind of meh. So you end up with like there's so many save or die effects in play with AD&D that a lot of it just comes down to just using the appropriate save or die effect, and that can be kind of sad. I was like one of 3 people who actually played Legacy of Ball mode on the enhanced edition. I actually tried to get back into it again recently, but multiplayer is broken again. So like one of the primary like selling points of the enhanced edition is basically gone now because multiplayer broke at some point and never really got fixed. So that's unfortunate. Yeah, I've never been able to get into Baldur's Gate 3. At some point I need to get into Baldur's Gate 3 and just like let chat choose all the dialogue options. I fully like can't get into it because the way that the way that the dialogue is written, I just like it frustrates the hell out of me. Basically, the way that I would describe it is that the character that you make is not a character in the narrative. You're basically just picking which sequences of conversations the other characters are going to have. There's like no characterization for the character that you're playing as. There's no consistent characterization. And it's a fool's errand to try to. Try to get any role playing done. One of the things that like the older games in the series I think did a pretty good job with is there's basically like 3 or 4 protagonists, and every time you're like picking a dialogue choice, you're picking from one of those like 3 or 4 people. And one of those 3 or 4 people but each one of those people that you're choosing from for each dialogue option has a very distinct voice and character to them. And the impression that I got from Baldur's Gate 3 was that my dialogue options exist for the purpose of allowing the NPC to do what they're going to do. Like, my dialogue choice exists... my dialogue options were added afterward to justify the funny line or the thing that they wanted the NPC to do. And so your character is like just a vacuum that kind of exists, and it's almost like a choose your own adventure style rather than a thinger. There's just like a lot of really weird, like really, really weird choices that they have in the dialogue that like I think like really just speak to that. Like if in like Icewind Dale 2, if your character is a paladin, like the first paladin specific dialogue that you are going to run into is your paladin denying a quest reward. Right? Is like, oh no, you don't need to reward me for having done this thing. Just doing it was the correct thing to do. I'm not going to... So that, like, that's your first, like, paladin-specific thing. It's almost like a tutorial of, don't have your paladin talk to the quest NPCs. And I think that happens with monks, too. So don't have your paladin talk to the quest NPCs. Got it. But it's, like, very good characterization, and it makes sense for a paladin, right? And the first paladin-specific option that I got in Baldur's Gate 3 is lying to an NPC about killing a monster. And that's the first dialogue option that you get that's paladin-specific, is lying about doing a thing that's a paladin thing to do. And it's like, oh yes, I can believably lie about this because as a paladin, I have like advantage on this bluff. Right? Like that's the first thing that you get. And the reason that you're doing that lie is basically to save a person who's a person and not a monster, right? That's what you're doing. Right? So the thing you're trying to accomplish is a good end, but there's no way to just like it's this weird dynamic where you just don't have the ability to just be like diplomatic about shit, It's just it's like the way that it's written is just very, very bizarre. And I don't remember all the details, but it was one of those things where like once you fail to convince this like random person of this thing, like you're immediately just given like, okay, well we're now in this fail state, which means that the only way out of this is to like either lie to a person or like murder them or murder someone else. Like you have to like choose to murder someone or you have to like just lie to this person. It's like there's so many more options here. We don't need to immediately like jump into this like bizarre framework here where we're buying into their framing on things. Anyway, it was all very weird. And yeah, it's one of the things that like I found the most annoying, like as something to have happen at the very beginning, I think that Asterian's introduction is probably like one of the worst ways you could possibly introduce an NPC. Like it's like one of the worst possible ways you could introduce an NPC, because no matter what you do in the conversation, you're always going to end up in the exact same position toward the middle of the dialogue sequence, and there's just no way out of it. You will just get like hamstrung into this exact sequence happening in this exact way, no matter what you choose to do, in a way that's like completely ridiculous for like 80% of characters that you could be playing with. It's like, so yeah, anyway, basic just being that like the dialogue to me felt so like coming off of like Baldur's Gate and Baldur's Gate 2, it just feels so strange to have so little characterization in the protagonist, in the dialogue. And then in addition to that, to have it be like, okay, well, we're railroading the conversation into this very specific thing because it has to happen because we spent a lot of money making this happen. And I'm just like, man, just give me my text-based shit again. I don't need all this voice acting and visualization. Just give me text, because text is cheap. Like, you couldn't make Planescape Torment in modern graphics. You know what I mean? Like, not because of anything intrinsic to the graphics, but just because it's like, okay, well, how many lines of dialogue are we going to have this narrator read out for all the things that are happening, and these extremely long sequences that happen that are you can read very quickly, but which, if someone was going to read them aloud, it would take forever, right? Like, you can't really read that shit aloud. You can't narrate that to someone. So, yeah, I'm like the only person on Earth who just was viscerally upset by Baldur's Gate 3. I just could not tolerate it. And it all just came down to the fact that like the protagonist just didn't feel like there's so many like nitty-gritty like things that you can do with the dialogue, and it responds so much to like various things. Like, there was some like unique dialogue for being a cleric of Kelemvor with like an undead like lich or something, and I don't think it's actually a lich. I don't know what it actually was, but it's some sort of undead, right? And the interaction is a friendly one, And it's like, I'm a fucking priest of Kelemvor. Did you hear, like, priest of the dead? And you thought, oh, yeah, they'll like the undead because they're like, dude's a skeleton or whatever. It's like, no, Kelemvor's like the most anti-undead. He's the god of the dead. He's the god of being dead and staying fucking dead. Kelemvor priests do not tolerate the existence of the undead. Okay, like, let's be clear. So you have this weird, like, positive communication going on between a priest of Kelemvor and what seems to be a lich. And it's like, oh yeah, I know undead, because I'm, a priest of Kelemvor. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? What is happening? What is this conversation? So you have this weird element where it's like, it's very responsive to, like, your choices, but it's like responsive to your choices in a way that seems like so shallow that, like, it isn't like there's, like, no comprehension of, like, oh no, what does it mean to be a priest of Kelemvor? It means something skeletons, right? I'm pretty sure something skeletons is the limit to the thought put into that. And it shows, right? But the reason for that is that the protagonist isn't, like, the protagonist just isn't a character. Like, the protagonist is not written, and because you don't have, like, a like real written character for the protagonist, it's really just like, okay, well, how do we get to the point where the NPC can say the thing that we want the NPC to say, as opposed to, like, having the ability for one of the cool characters to be the actual, like, protagonist. Yeah, we don't send anybody to their permanent rest as a priest of Kelemvor in Baldur's Gate 3. I didn't get very far in the game, by the way, so it's not like I know how later parts of the game go. But considering how long that thing was in early access, the part that I was doing, I think that it was in early access with only Act 1 being available, and for like 3 years by the time that I ended up playing it, and to have problems like that. There was also a bunch of other weird stuff where it's like, you just don't, like, you end up with weird stuff where you're supposed to have, like, the stakes at the very start implicitly, like, give you the implication of, like, extremely high stakes with an uncertain but potentially, like, hours timeline, and you end up with this weird position where you have a game that wants you to relax and take your time and explore, but what character could you be playing as that would ever do that? Right? Like, the stakes involved are inappropriate for the gameplay at the start of the game. Like, the game just doesn't want you to take it seriously. The game doesn't take the stakes seriously and doesn't want you as the player to take it seriously. But by extension, that means that the character can't take the stakes seriously either. Right? Like, the character can't take the stakes seriously, because if the character takes the stakes seriously, the game's fucking impossible. Right? Because if you take the stakes seriously and you go do the things that you are supposed to do immediately, you're, like, going into fights where it's like there's level 5 enemies that you're dealing with immediately, because you're interacting with the stakes, right? And it's like, okay, well, this is supposed to be what you do at the end of the entire chapter, but the stakes imply that you should be doing it now. It's the first thing that you should be doing, right? And it's like just a whole thing where I just wish.
This is perfect.
There's no room.
I wish I enjoyed it because I wish I could
There's no
comprehend
room.
the joy that other people get from that game. And the thing is that I'm pretty sure that it is like a specific sequence of my specific neurodivergencies that make me go, but how can I as the player ignore the stakes if that means the character has to ignore the stakes, right? And I have a very large tolerance for frustration, which allows me to do certain things. And like to me, like I really like to have, you know, smaller quantities of ludonarrative dissonance, stuff like that. It's somewhat important for me. I can tolerate random encounters, but even random encounters bother me these days. The ludonarrative dissonance of the random encounters like builds up over time. Yeah, I'm surprised that it ended up getting finished at all. It didn't seem likely that it would be, considering how long it was in early access with only Act 1. So I'm impressed that they got the product done at all. And I wish I was even slightly capable of engaging with it without just getting incredibly annoyed. I wish that was possible.
It's useless.
I'm wounded.
I think they also used like a weird variant rule set for for like the racial stuff that made it so that like basically halflings were the most overpowered thing in existence and nobody else basically even had a racial. It's like halflings get to re-roll ones and nobody else gets anything. It's like, okay, you get the ability to use a spear. You get proficiency in spear. Because the thing is that I think they basically used a variant rule set that removes all the actual racial abilities.
I'm hurt badly.
Shield dwarves don't get shield proficiency, but they get medium armor proficiency. Wow. But hey, look, Metaphor has been really good. I haven't played it in a while because I've been doing other things. I haven't played it in a while predominantly because I got myself stuck in a late game dungeon where I was completely unprepared to deal with the boss, and like I kind of basically like jumped into the hardest of the late game dungeons for my particular party, and then like, you know, that was a bit of an oopsie doodle. So anyway, so then I needed to like level up in order to be able to get through it. And then because I needed to level up, I spent a couple of days, you know, doing that off and on in the background. But but then I haven't, you know, managed to latch Kaz back onto it yet because we we took that break in order for me to actually get strong enough to continue. It's really good. I've been really enjoying it. There's one area where they do like this bizarre like anime trope thing that I'm not going to specify, but it's like it's the kind of thing that it's like, okay, yes, I've seen this at least 6 times, and it's weird and doesn't make any sense and is kind of like this incoherent plot point that I find annoying and upsetting. But there's only the one time that they've done that so far. And it wasn't like the worst thing in history. It was just very cringe and unfortunate. But outside of that, it's been really interesting, and I've really enjoyed it. I feel like one of the things that's often missing from narratives is like actual growth and evolution of a character. And this is true for narratives all over the place, right? But like particularly for stuff that's like TV show adjacent and video games, I think you'll often have like fake character growth where a character will behave a certain way at the start and it's not good for them to do it, and then they get called out on it and they go, oh no, I will change this behavior of mine, and then they'll stop doing it for a few episodes, and then when the writers think that you've stopped paying attention, they'll just like creep those behaviors back in and then just have them keep doing it, and then have the exact same conversation again with everyone. And it's like, it makes sense for a character to backpedal, but when they start doing the same thing again, like maybe have people call them out for falling back on, you know what I mean? Like making backward progress or whatever. But like it's just an excuse to have like the exact same character arc happen 3 seasons later because they're out of ideas or whatever. And one thing that I found interesting was having characters that have like coherent motivations for a lot of what they do, and exploring the exploring their fallibility in a way that I think is very interesting and reasonable, and like exploring the idea of like maybe this person is doing this for the wrong reasons. Maybe their actual reasoning is bad, actually, and this shouldn't be their reason for doing what they're doing. And what they're doing isn't necessarily bad, but their reasoning behind it is a weak reason, and they should develop a better reason for doing what they do than what they have. And like seeing a narrative like that, where they progress into that, that's something that they do a really good job of in the Persona series as well for certain characters. There's a lot of characters in the Persona series that are very unlikable when you first meet them, and then actually legitimately like grow as a character in an interesting way, and fundamentally shift by the end of the game to be someone that's more interesting. And that's always cool when that happens. So we're going to 8. But one of the issues that I run into with a lot of narratives is that a character will say something incredibly dumb and cringe, and I'm sitting there going, okay, this character is saying dumb and cringe things. Do you, as the author, believe these dumb, cringe things that this character is saying, or do you not? And usually, I'm not impressed, because usually I come out the other end feeling like, okay, no, the author believes these dumb, cringe things. and the character's saying it, and the narrative reality doesn't challenge it. Whether the character gets challenged on it in the narrative doesn't matter. What matters is whether the reality of the world challenges that view for the audience, of whether the audience should believe this character when they say this thing or not. And oftentimes, like, characters will have like very bad ideas, and those bad ideas will get just fully reinforced by the narrative, where the narrative is like, yes, this is actually true. This is 100% true and accurate, and this, you know, this is how the world works. And it's nice when that doesn't happen, and the narrative's like, no, actually, this was a dumb and cringe thing for them to believe. And again, the character doesn't need to be challenged on it. Like, as a character, they don't need to be challenged. The world needs to not be as dumb as the character thinks it is.
What's some?
Right? God, one of my biggest pet peeves. This is one of my biggest pet peeves about narratives, just generally. So I'm just gonna get on a weird, like, you know, tangent here. Is that as a writer, if you think that a random teenager telling the audience something that they have no way of knowing and just fully spitballing some random bullshit that they made up on the fly suffices to explain how your actual universe works, you're doing it wrong. Stop. I should not have to listen to some 16-year-old nerd and go, okay, well, this random nerd is the sole arbiter of what is true and correct in this universe. And I should believe everything that they say without any sort of, like, whatchamacallit? What am I thinking? I'm gonna need to get a disease on this character at some point. Luckily, I don't have perception on them, so I should be able to do that. It's not a big deal, but we're gonna save under danger anyway. Because that curse is permanent. We don't have anybody with expert spirit. What's this saying? Oh, so if you are writing a scene and the goal of the scene is to expound on the plot, you have to have something better than a random teenager says so. As if you want... Oh, this is Swift. Oh. That's an issue. That's a sizable issue. If you want the audience to feel justified in buying into the thing that they're saying. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm gonna listen to this character, they have to have a better reason than just vibes. Like, oh yeah. So common. I'm looking at you, Life is Strange. Life is Strange is the thing that, like, this most hit for me with this, where the metaphysical explanation for things was such a crazy thing. When you get to the point where you've got, like, the explanation and then you're supposed to make this choice at the end about what to do, and the explanation for why you should do the thing that you're supposed to do was so batshit insane that it didn't feel like a reasonable choice for a human being to pick that, because it didn't make any goddamn sense. It didn't make any sense as a choice. And it doesn't make any sense. And it's like, because of the fact that it doesn't make sense as a choice, it, like, really undermines the narrative, right? Like, it's supposed to be this, like, sort of emotional moment that has, like, stakes, right? Who needs the jump spell? Who needs it? We don't need it. But so you're supposed to have this emotional thing with stakes, and it's like, no, if you hadn't tried to justify this shit with like chaos theory or whatever bullshit you pulled out of your ass to try and like explain away why it is that you're supposed to do this way, and had instead just done something normal in order to make this choice, you know, happen, you would have been fine. But because you had a teenager tell me that I needed to do this based off of nothing, based off of like a teenager's understanding of fucking astrophysics, because the people who made the game have a teenager's understanding of astrophysics, and they tried to write it into their game, right? It ends up in a position where I'm like, well, but this isn't believable, right? Like this is an unreasonable thing to believe about the world. How could... And again, we come back to, I as the player, I know that you as the writer are telling me, as the player, this is the state of the world. But I'm playing a character in a setting, and that character is hearing a teenager tell them, oh yeah, you know, blah, 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 blah. And it's stupid and wrong. And crazy.
Got him.
So how am I supposed to buy into this? Anyway, it's a whole thing. Also, that will probably help me deal with this leech, considering that I didn't have the lifesteal on. Anyway, so that's me. We're noticing a pattern in the kinds of things that I run into as problems with narratives.
I've never seen one before.
It's kind of like how like every narrative feels the need to like justify their magic system with like string theory or quantum mechanics. And it's like, stop. You don't understand quantum entanglement. Don't say those words until you've done some research. And it's okay for your magic system to be, it's magic. You can just say it's magic. You do not need to bring quantum entanglement into your magic system. Just don't do it. Just don't explain it. Right? Just don't explain it. Just don't do that, and then you're fine. If you don't explain it, then it stays magic, and as long as it's just magic, you can make whatever rules about it you want, because it's magic. But as soon as you start saying, "Oh, it's quantum entanglement," it becomes harder. You can't just spitball this shit anymore. All of a sudden, you're dealing with things that are real and actually have to do with shit, and you can't just bring it. Don't bring quantum. Don't say quantum in your magic system. Just don't do it. But it comes down to the need to, like, justify that it's not really magic, right? It's not magic. It's tied in with something that you've heard of, right, vaguely, but don't understand, right? And sure, I don't understand quantum mechanics. I don't know shit about quantum mechanics, but I know that's not what quantum mechanics are. I know that's magic.
Nice shot. Who wants some?
Got him.
I guess part of it is just the fact that, like, I would much rather someone not explain something, and it's like, is there an actual explanation that could fit these scenarios? No, not really. It wouldn't really work mechanically. And I find that much more satisfying than, like, oh, here's how it works, but the thing that you're saying is how it works. It doesn't work. Don't lie to me about how it works. Just admit it doesn't. It's fine. I mean, you don't have to admit it doesn't, but you just like, don't tell me anything. Yeah. Anyway, I've been really enjoying Metaphor. I was expecting, I was expecting it to be more cringe. Once we started getting into it, I was a little concerned that it was going to be pretty cringe. But I'm very deep into it at this point, and there has not really been much in the way of cringe. Honestly, like, it's been very, like, it's been solid. I feel like, handle a lot of the subject matter very well. And I've been enjoying it so far. I don't know how it's going to end. It might end and just be very sad with the way that it ends. Like, I might not enjoy how it ends, which is a common problem for me, is that I tend to give narratives the benefit of the doubt until they've demonstrated that they don't deserve it. Which is part of the reason why it's so crazy how early I started disliking Baldur's Gate 3. Because usually I will let them cook. But the narrative for Baldur's Gate 3, I felt like, was not letting me cook. And but yeah, so it's interesting because it's like, you know, a lot of stuff I'll be, you know, okay, this sequence that you've done here implies these things are true about your universe. And then they come to the end point of the narrative, and it's like, okay, so none of the things that are implied by the beginning and middle of your narrative are actually, like, reflected in the end of your narrative. You just kind of randomly end it. Which is, you know, suboptimal. Okay, we just got cursed on a character who it doesn't matter if they're cursed. Because curse does not make you fail attacks, it just makes you fail spells. Okay. What are we doing? I think this is actually going pretty fine for now. This is going surprisingly well. So what time is 12:05? Take a look here. I'm gonna check if. Okay. Holy shit.
I've never seen.
Well then. This one is... Okay, this is the boss that I got before. Right. Let's grab this. Let's see. How do we want to handle this? Do we want to keep moving north, or do we want to go the other direction first? We're at 26 now, so we can equip that legendary if we want. I think we're going to try to grab this wolf, and I'm going to try to get in position. There's absolutely no guarantee that I'm able to do it without dying. That's gonna be really hard. Without jump? Without jump, that's a really hard sell. Okay. We got up. We got it. Alright. I was concerned that it was going to kill basically anybody with that first hit. But Nosferatu was able to survive it. And wasn't even cursed, so... So if we can take out the pack leader here, then I think we'll be in good shape. And that will be all good business. Okay, I think I actually am going to end early today because I do have some more text messages that I should send out, and I have, which are on those are on a time scale because I'm not sending them to people that are local. I'm sending those to the Americas. So I have some communication that needs to happen, and if I go for too much longer, it's not going to be reasonable to. I think I should probably do that. So, because yeah, we're close to the normal end time. We're not quite there, but we're pretty close. I think we're gonna get back to town. And do I want to level up? Let's see. I don't have anybody with spirit boosted, do I? Oh wait, no, I do have spirit magic expert. Wait. I just need to buy remove curse. Shh, I forgot that it's preservation. I'm so dope. Okay. I don't know how many hours it's been. 8 hours is the cutoff. I'm gonna just walk out to see. So this should work. We have the money for it. So we're gonna go pick up remove curse, and we can turn this off. And we'll go save the game. I didn't realize that I had a spirit expert. I fully forgot that preservation is a thing. Let's see here. I think this is the self guild, right? No, this is the self guild. Karen's Cottage. Where's the self guild? Here it is. All right, we're gonna save under danger.
We got spells.
Remove curse is right here. We can afford it. Picking this up, we are going to immediately learn this. Remove curse successful on the first hit. That's not the character who's cursed. Okay. So we've got the curses removed. Let's check everybody's... what is it? Where does it show up? Is it on this? I think it is, yes. Okay, so we have 89 days of disease, which is fine. That's easy to cure. And we have picked up remove curse. So,
Yes.
plus 40 to the elemental resistances, plus 23 might, and plus 23 intellect. This is a crazy powerful item for our Lich, who it increases every resistance that they have to worry about. Like, look at this. That is huge. Because they have just full immunity to everything else. Let's see here. We have a shield that's actually a very, very good shield. This is a very good set of abilities to have. Let's see here. We also have the ability to train up. So do we do our training now? Yeah, let's do our training now. And then we'll get that done. We will equip our boots. And get our inventory under control. Let's do that. That's how we'll end things up here. And we'll probably end sometime around 12:30. Might be a little bit later than that. Might even be earlier than that, but probably not. Okay, so this I think we are going to give to you. I think this is a reasonable thing to give to you. This is a pretty huge portion of my might. So I am a little, I might not really need to equip this yet, honestly. Because... There we go. We can slap it onto you. We'll just slap this on you for now. This is something that we will eventually be putting on someone else. We'll be putting it onto one of the two of these once it makes sense to do so. We have a shit ton of items that we can use to construct new stuff out of.
Well, I tried.
Well, I tried. And let's see. We now have 18 grand. So, you are all set. I can get leather up to 8. And we can get expert leather eventually. I don't know that that's a critically important thing at the moment. I think I might go with staff. I think I am just going to keep these 3 in sync with each other for right now. So as for you, you have bodybuilding expert, you have body magic expert. I should probably get dagger skill at some point, but I don't need it right now because this two-handed sword is going to be my best weapon for a while. And so I don't necessarily need to pump that. I could pump Arms Master, actually, because Arms Master will boost me no matter what I'm using. We could try to get Expert Spirit. Oh, Enlightenment we can get up to Mastery, right? We can get this to Mastery immediately. Do we focus this? I think we do. We have to focus up Enlightenment, I think. Enlightenment we need to get up high enough to be able to cast more spells. So for this character, we are going to pump Arms Master to 8 and Bodybuilding to 8. And that will be useful. You have several options. Let's see. This would give me access to using regen with this character. So we'll maybe do this. I don't know. Because it'll depend. I don't know if we can maintain both the Unholy Aura and regen at the same time. So... But I think we will just invest this up heavily. We'll get them all to 8. Because it's a pretty sizable boost to our damage output, even if we don't hit expertise immediately. And we should, I think, now be starting to get enough money to get our expertises in order. Okay. Spiritus has as much enlightenment as they need for now. I need to get other skills for this character as well. Fire Magic Expert would be useful for giving us haste, but we can't use it yet. So I feel like we might just go arms up to 8, maybe. Do we start focusing? Oh wait, not arms, because arms won't give us the thing. I think we're going to pump axe all the way to 8. We don't have any good axes yet, but let's get our axe to 8. And, right, we can actually get these all up to 8 pretty easily. It's just very... The thing that's going to be expensive is the monetary cost, more so than the other stuff. I think I need to get Merchant Master as soon as I can. I can get Expert basically immediately. gonna pick up the skills here.
Sure, we got spells.
Just get these up to rank 1 so that I actually know what skills I'm gonna have in play. The Elemental Guild, I think, might be up here. Is there not one? I think there is one. Unless it's 2 needful things.
A library of magical knowledge.
You can pick up these skills. You just can't use them yet. Earth has slow. Earth resistance is important and cheap. Stone skin we don't need yet because we can't use it anyway. Ice bolt, water resistance, water walk. Don't think we need anything from there. We do need jump. So we're picking up jump.
Can't wait to cast it.
And earth resistance. Okay, so we've burned all of our cash, but we also have a bunch of stuff sitting on our inventory that we can sell. So let's save the game. And is there anything here that we need to be concerned about?
Our axes are the best.
Let's see. Don't
Our
need
axes are the
a
best.
garbage spear. Well, yes, earth resistance casts on the whole party. The other thing that's useful about earth resistance is also in this mod combined with the old like endurance buff that existed in Might and Magic 6. So earth resistance gives you endurance as well. So that has a couple of very powerful effects. So the first is that it increases your HB, which is nice. It increases your endurance, which is nice. But endurance will also increase the threshold of death for you. Both if so it's very handy, very useful. Is going to make a big difference for me. In the long run, like earth resistance is one of the most important ones because of the fact that it gives you endurance, and endurance is such an important stat. Like there's just such a huge difference because it increases your max HP, which means that you're less likely to get knocked to a larger negative in the first place. It's just, and then in addition, it gives you a larger, even without preservation, gives you a larger pool to play with before you die. It's so good. It's a clutch
Our axes are the best.
spell. Okay, let's do that. And we're going to hold on to that. I think we can sell most of the others. Not too much difficulty. Yeah, my goal for the way that I've got this party set up is that each character is going to be contributing. I solved the thing that gives... I'm not going to reload for that. I'm just going to accept my fate. Did I just... No, this is pretty good.
We can
It's not
outwit you.
amazing, but it's not...
Didn't work.
I'm not replacing it with something as weak as the thing I was just looking at. It's fine. Okay. Right, I do need to get Expert Dagger as well. I'm now realizing. Because Expert Dagger allows me to dual wield. So it's a slightly more critical effect than I am currently giving it credit for. Do I need any of these other things first? I don't think so. I think dagger is probably... Oh, wait. I was getting enlightenment. Enlightenment probably actually doesn't take priority over expert dagger, except for the fact that it's free. But even then... Oh, wait. No, because you have the two-hander. We're fine. Yeah, I think that checks out. That's a reasonable decision. But we actually made a pretty decent amount of money just clearing out our inventory. We haven't finished clearing the inventory yet, but we've already got like 14 grand. So progress is being made. And soon... It's Grognar's Cutlass. We're not getting rid of that. I'm going to hold on to this dagger, I think. Don't need this. The affix on it is not useful. It looks really good, but it's not for melees. It's only for spellcasters. Okay. Save this. And... how are we doing? We've got 16 grand. And we have 2 for you, so you should need 30 grand for your next one. So 30 grand to get regen. You have... we need 30 grand to get you dagger, and then 40 grand for regen. I'm not going to probably get Spirit and Mind up until we have way more money. Shadow Barricos. We can get... I think we're gonna get Arms Master next. I guess we'll be getting Merchant next, I guess, but Arms Master is of importance. Blood Expert is going to come out soon. That'll give me access to regen. Which I think is a good idea. As for you, you have 8 axe skill now. Which expertises are critically important for you to pick up? Weirdly, I don't know. Usually I would want to get all of the expertises here very rapidly, but honestly, because of the fact that I don't have access to mastery in this, I can't really maintain that many buffs. And I'm not going to be able to maintain very many buffs for quite a while. Let me think about this. Because usually it's very cheap, so I'm just like, okay, this is an almost inconsequential investment, and I guess it's kind of an inconsequential skill investment. No, it's not. Even skill point wise, it's not an inconsequential investment, because each of these is going to require at least 7 points to increase, right? I could get Expert Meditation, but there's really not any reason to. Do we go for Arms Master next? Even though it's extremely expensive for what it does? I think I might. I think that might be how I want to handle this. We don't need Water Expert. We've already got Water Walking handled. Earth Expert would be nice for Stone to Flesh. Cure Paralysis is something that I need eventually. But do I want... This character is going to have so many expertises. It's going to get so expensive so fast compared to like this character who's going to get expensive way less fast. Like I feel like getting Mind Magic Expert on Nosferatu is probably the better bargain. So yeah, I think that I think we're gonna just leave that for now because we don't have to act on that immediately anyway. And how about this? That's fine. So we have the ability to cure, remove curse. And we should be able to clear out the remainder here fairly easily. It'll be easier now that we have jump, because we can just jump up on this roof rather than having to walk around the back. So even if something is a swift enemy, we should be able to get that done. Then we just have to deal with the centaurs. Centaurs probably won't be too big of a deal. And once we've got that done, I think we'll be in a pretty strong position to continue on. We'll just have to figure out how we're going to do that component. I should definitely start doing some of the dungeons in like 7 and 8. It's tempting to do the dungeons, some of the dungeons in 6. I'm just trying to think of like what dungeons I could do that would give me only like a single level's worth of experience, right? Like that's the thing, is that I don't want to get a bunch of levels clearing out a dungeon. I want to get like a single level. So Goblin Watch is going to be a huge amount of experience, I think. And let's see. She should be. She should be, but she's not, because she lives in a different continent. But we have the ability to teleport between continents, so we could go grab Sally, except we can't, because we can't get back to that island. But if we could get back to that Emerald Island, wait, we can get back to Emerald Island. Actually, we just need to get. Once we get a map, we can go talk to Sally. We can recruit her into the party, and then bring her to New Sorpigal, and that'll get the job done. We'll just drop her off on that island that we were dealing with earlier. But I think that's actually going to be it for today. I have some phone calls that I need to make, and I think that this is a pretty good place to end things. We've gotten our inventory mostly managed, and we can come back to this tomorrow, I think. Today's Thursday, right? Come back to this tomorrow and get some more clearance done. So, hope to see you all tomorrow, and, take care of yourselves and all that jazz. Later, folks.